Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is again Dr. Samih Abdul Jalil, and this is EL112, and this is theme 5. Okay, so theme 5, as you all know, happens to be the end of the book. Okay, the book is divided into 5 themes, and we have covered the 5 themes, whether you covered some of them in class with other teachers, and we've been covering the last 2 themes together, right? Anyway, what we have today, we're going to continue with theme 5, and hopefully we're going to finish it off so that we can start our revision classes as of tomorrow, inshallah. So let me go to the slides and see how we can handle them. Okay. Bismillah. Okay. That's fine. I don't know what I did, but just fine. Sharing. And then my screen. Yeah, okay. So how much do you still remember about theme 5? We've been talking about theme 5 for quite some time now. We started last week, and like I said, we're ending today, inshallah. Um, remember, theme 5 was about customs and traditions. Spoke enough about that. Spoke about cultural diversity and what makes uh, um, a society or a community culturally diverse when you have people from different cultures living together in the same city or in the same country. We spoke about Canada as a good example. We spoke about the United States of America. We even spoke about Jeddah and Saudi Arabia in general, where you normally have culturally diverse communities. You have people from different countries, and they live together and they coexist. So, what is it that we learn from uh, having cultural diversity in place? We learn a great deal of things. We learn to live and let live. We learn to keep an open mind and heart. We learn not to judge people because they have their own unique way of doing their own things. We don't have to be identical twins, if you like. We all have our own special ways of doing things. So if I have my own special way of doing things, I wouldn't be, I shouldn't, as a matter of fact, I shouldn't judge other people because their style of living happens to be different from mine. We spoke about wedding customs. We didn't go much into that today. Perhaps in the articles that we're going to read, we'll have something about wedding customs. And then let me go through the pages of the book, and then we will all get reminded of what we have done over the past 3 classes. So if you still remember, we spoke about open days, and we said that open days are open access days where you're given access to the facilities of a university. You get into a university, you're not part of the university yet, and they give you access so that you can get around and see what departments they have, what area studies they give, so that if you like it in there, you can always apply for a seat with them at the university. Spoke about Hartford University and the open day that those guys conducted and the different disciplines that they have, and there were short breaks about those short presentations and short talks about those different disciplines. By now, you know what a discipline is. Discipline is a field of study. For example, today in class we have people from the business department. So the business would be a discipline. We have people from the English department. This is another discipline. We have people from the computer studies department. That would be a third discipline. Um, what else did we talk about as far as this page is concerned? We spoke about major historical figures, people whose names always ring bells about history and what they did and others down through the ages. We spoke about Ibn Khaldun, the Arab, North African historian and sociologist, spoke about the stuff that he did. We spoke about also Herodotus. Herodotus happens to be a Greek historian, and had it not been for him, we wouldn't have known about perhaps ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, and all those big civilizations and big histories. We spoke about Marco Polo. Marco Polo happens to be the first one to travel to Cathay. Cathay is the old name of China. He went all the way to China, and this was perhaps in the 14th century. And he lived there for perhaps 20 years, and he was friends with the Emperor of China. At the time, it was called Kublai Khan. And the Emperor was sad when Marco Polo decided to go back home. Uh, who else do we know and recognize? We spoke about Columbus. Columbus is the discoverer of North America, whether we're talking about Canada or the United States. And if we speak about Columbus, we should automatically speak about Red Indians or Native Americans. Native Americans are those the original inhabitants of North America before the coming of Columbus and the white Europeans. And of course, you know what happened to them. There were big fights and big wars between the owners of the land, the Native Americans, and the explorers and the settlers from Europe. And of course, Europe took over, and Native Americans got obliterated. Obliterated means they were kind of deleted from history. I mean, except for a few who now live as U.S. citizens. It's not a very beautiful history, as a matter of fact. And then we spoke about the importance of maps and how to read a map, right? People in the class spoke about the benefits that other people get if they know how to read a map. They get directions through the map. They know where India is, where China is, where the different countries are, and what kind of weather they have, and what kind of human geography they also have, population and stuff. And then we moved on to something very interesting. We spoke about adjective endings. We spoke about suffixes, and we said that a suffix is an attachment that you add to a word so that you can either change the meaning or change the part of speech. And if we speak about a word like happy, happy is a word, and you can always add, and happy here is, by the way, an adjective. If you want to tweak it so that it can become a noun, you're going to say happiness, which means that you added the suffix ness. And you changed it into a noun. We have given so many examples. Remember, fascinate, fascinating, and fascinated. Depending on whether you're talking about people or things. If you're talking about people, it's going to be ed. If you're talking about things, it's going to be ing. If I take a word like care, for example, and I add the suffix full, that it becomes careful. If I have the same word and I add less, it becomes careless, and the meaning, as you can see, is now different. Spoke about that. We also spoke about prefixes. Prefixes are attachments that you put at the beginning of a word, also to change the meaning or to change the part of speech. If I say happy, I can say unhappy, which would give the opposite meaning, of course, right? If What else can you think of examples of prefixes where you have interested and uninterested? For example, you have honest and dishonest, right? But these are all called prefixes, and like I said, they are very important because they allow you to get or keep as a big number of words without having to memorize every single word. It would be enough to have the stem or the root or the main part of the word, and then you, by adding prefixes and suffixes, you can change the meaning and you can also change the part of speech. And then we moved on to a very important learning tool, which is the idea of taking down notes. And we spoke about taking down notes, and we said that this is very advisable and very recommended because our memories are very short and you cannot remember every single word in a class. You shouldn't. You're not supposed to remember, to try. You shouldn't even try to remember every single word. If you are taking down notes, those notes are going to act like prompts that can remind you of what happened in class. We said we have different note-taking styles, and depending on the topic, depending on what your tutor or your presenter, depending on what he is giving, he or she, of course, you would choose the right note-taking style. What are the different note-taking styles that we have? You can have a tree diagram, you can have a table, you can have a timeline, a flow chart, or a spidergram, depending on uh, um, what your tutor or what your presenter is giving. If he or she is classifying, for example, putting things into groups, you will be using tree diagrams. If he or she is making comparisons, a table would be suitable. If there is a sequence and he or she is engaged in storytelling and giving us perhaps a bit of history, and history is about dates, and this time you're going to use time lines. You would use flow charts for uh, process. If somebody is engaged in telling you the steps as how you do something, so in this case, a flow chart would help. And you would use spidergrams if somebody is giving you an issue or a topic, and then he is dividing the topic into sections and into different areas, depending on the relationships that he or she is establishing between those different areas. What else did we speak about? We also spoke about the idea of adding extra information to either the subject or the object, right? And how do you adding extra information? It means that you're going to uh, go into the sentence itself and add something. So can you add something without a conjunction? Absolutely not. You know what a conjunction is by now. Conjunctions are words like but, right? Remember but, so, because, when, while, before, after, if. These are all who, which, whom. These are all called conjunctions, and they are meant to, we use them to add extra information so that whatever is not understandable enough, those extra information that you give using a link or using a conjunction can help, right? We focused our attention at one point on the object, right? If you still remember. How, when I say, for example, I met Mona and full stop. This is a very beautiful sentence, but obviously you'll end up having so many questions. Who about Mona and who Mona is, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to add extra information, and Mona happens to be the object, so you're going to add extra information. So can you say, I met Mona? Mona is a teacher in our university. That's fine. You can put them in two different sentences, and that's fine. But if you insist on making one sentence out of them, in this case, you're going to introduce the extra information, which is Mona is a teacher at our school, using a relative pronoun. Relative pronouns are words like who, which, whom, and you use them depending on what kind of object we have. If the object is a human being like Mona, in this case, you're going to use who. So the sentence would read as follows. I met Mona, who is a teacher at our school. Does it make sense this way? Yes. Did it add extra information that I need? Absolutely. Okay. This is the university, and then full stop. When I say this is the university, it's a beautiful sentence in its own right. But would that be enough? This is the university. So you're going to be asking me, what university? I'm going to say, uh, I graduated from this university. So this is the university. I graduated from this university. So what happens if you want to join them together? So you're going to use a relative pronoun. So the here it's university, which is a place. You're going to say this is the university where I graduated from, right? So this is the university where I graduated from. This is the extra information that you added using a conjunction. And the conjunction here would be the relative pronoun where. Do I make sense? Hello? Okay, good. I'm wrapping up what we have been doing over the past three classes, by the way. Okay, I'm hoping this is not boring, huh? Okay, yeah. Yeah. For the first time, Ali is happy with me. Okay, good. Let's go on. So what do we have next? Thank you. Right. So what do we what do we have here? This is a very interesting map, and as you can see, it's a map of Asia for the most part, where you have we can recognize places on this map. You have Asia, and this is where we live, obviously. Which part of Asia are we in? Are we in the east, south, or in the west? Yeah, we're in the west, absolutely in the west. West and towards the south, right? Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Okay. Okay. Have you ever been to any of the countries on the map? I mean, other than wait. I mean, people in Asia. I mean, countries in Asia. Have you ever been to any of these countries? I have lots of countries in Asia. Okay, Salah Mekkawi. Have where have you been? Yeah, Ali went to Malaysia, and Salah went to China. That's interesting. Okay, so Business or pleasure, ya Salah? You went to China for business or pleasure? Work, yeah, which is business, yeah, that's interesting. And how long did you stay over there? Yeah, 3 months. That's interesting. Did you like it? Did you like it there, Salah? Or Saleh? I don't know. Let's Salah, not Saleh. And then you felt homesick? You wanted to go back home or what? Yeah, okay. This is typical, yeah. At the beginning, people get thrilled with what they see for the first time, but over time they feel homesick, right? They want to go home. They miss their families like Salah did and everything. Nice, interesting. Okay. Have you ever been to India? Lots of people go to India for study purpose. They go and study there. Do we have people who went to India? So obviously no, which is fine. Okay, good. Abdul Latif, no, okay. Ali went to South Africa, and he also went to Malaysia. Obviously, Ali is the Marco Polo of the class, if you see what I mean. You know, Marco Polo used to travel a lot. So Ali is our Marco Polo. Okay, Ali. Okay. Where are you from, Ali? Yani what branch or what center? Ablatif went to Egypt. That's interesting. Jeddah, nice. Okay. Do I teach you? I mean, yani, were you one of my students? This is okay. Yeah, perhaps no. This is EL112, and we don't have EL113. But perhaps I can see you in the corridors and stuff. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to so what do we have on 141? We have understanding extra information about the subject. That's the same thing. Remember? Spoke about the object, spoke about using who, where, and other stuff. You can also sometimes the subject is not clear, and in this case, you're going to use also extra information. How can you introduce extra information to a sentence by using a relative pronoun? So when I say, let me give you an example. Uh, when I say, for example, the woman I met is uh, the woman I met is my teacher. So what was the original sentence? The woman is my teacher. So obviously, uh, you're going to ask which woman, what woman, okay? So the woman I met, or the woman who or whom I met. So who or whom I met would be the relative clause that you're giving as extra information so that people get to know what you're talking about or who you're talking about. Okay? Okay. Um, Spoke about that and we even gave a number of examples. I'm not going to stay long here so that you don't get bored. Okay, Bismillah. And then we moved on to the speaking section, and the speaking section was about wedding customs. And we spoke about how culturally diverse our class is. We had people from Saudi Arabia, from Egypt, from Eritrea, and from Somalia, right? And from, I don't know whether we have people from India or we don't. Um, so cultural diversity here in the class, we have this class is culturally diverse. And if we talk about wedding customs in the different cultures that we come from, we will have different sets of traditions when it comes to weddings. We focused on the idea of gifts. When people are getting married, Ablatif, are you from Mauritania? Yeah, such a nice country. I used to have friends from Mauritania, and they are such nice people indeed. Um, so, like I said, when people uh, get married, when people get married, they sometimes need support and help. So other people can give them gifts and presents, right? We spoke about the different gifts that people may give, that you can give, and we specifically focused on British culture where they sometimes give toaster or cash. They can give a cat or a kitten, gift tokens, and a cookery book. These are only examples. And we all agreed that it's sometimes it is in the best interest of the bride and the bridegroom if you give them the money and they can choose for themselves. Then sometimes you give them stuff that they already have, right? Okay. What else did we talk about in this part? We spoke about suggestions and how to make suggestions, right? Remember, shall we? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? How about this? How about that? Right? If I were in your shoes, I would do this, I would do that. These are different ways of giving or making suggestions, remember? Yeah. Um, what else do we have here? Yeah, we spoke about if somebody is giving a presentation or a class, a teacher like me, for example, and there is something that you don't understand, or there is something that you need more clarifications for. Okay, so you as a student or as a listener to what I have to say, you can from time to time you check whether you have understood something the right way. You ask questions. This is called the checking stage, and this is what you do as a listener. You check. Okay, you check and reacting to your checking. I will be explaining stuff. This is another stage in the conversation or in the tutorial that you have. You check from time to time, and I explain more from time to time. Sometimes, yeah, you of course you have all the right to check, but sometimes your timing is not perfect. You may be checking while somebody is in the middle of explanation, in the middle of a certain line of thought. In this case, your presenter is going to ask you to wait, right? So you check, I explain, or I ask you to wait. Okay? These are different. This is a circle that we normally go through in any of the classes without knowing that we're doing it. Checking on your part, explaining, and asking you to wait sometimes on my part, right? Does it make sense? It should, right? When I say, for example, could I answer questions? Could I answer questions at the end? This is who speaking? This is the presenter or the listener? Could I answer questions? Could I answer questions at the end? So is it me or you? In other words, Is it me or you? It's no, it's me. It's the tutor, right? The presenter or the tutor. Okay, I don't get your point. This is me or you? The presenter or the listener? Yeah, yeah, it's the student. I don't, I don't, excuse me. I'm drinking coffee, so that's why. It's uh, it's nothing serious, by the way. Excuse- شكرا يا منتصر. Thank you so much. My point is, this is whom? Allah يكرمك يا فتحي. Thank you so much. My point is it me? Yeah, you. You يعني me. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm confusing you. I'm sorry. Well, I don't mean to. It's still not clear to me. This is whom? This is you, right? This is you. If I say it's still not clear to me. So that means it's not clear to you, right? As a student, right? I'll explain that in a minute. This is whom speaking. I'll explain that in a minute. Yeah, this is the teacher. Excellent. That doesn't make sense to me. This is the student or the listener. Yes. What I mean was, what I meant. I'm sorry. What I meant was, this is the teacher, of course, or the presenter. That's interesting. Very good. You're doing a good job over there. Thank you so much. Okay, so if you go to 145, what we have, talking about past beliefs using used to, and we spoke enough about used to last time. So used to is about engaging in stuff that you used to do but you don't do anymore. So when I say, for example, I used to go to the gym, what do you understand from I used to go to the gym? You understand that I don't go to the gym anymore, right? Um, if Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yes. If I say I used to have a bike, it means that I don't have a bike anymore, right? Okay. Yeah, that's correct, yeah, Latif. So what happens if it's not one situation that you're talking about? If you're engaged in storytelling about the past, you're talking about what you and perhaps your family used to do in the past. Would you use used to? That would be too much. And English, and I think this applies to other languages, is not about repeating yourself. I mean, languages are normally, you don't you shouldn't be repeating yourself. You need to have alternatives. And what would be the alternative for used to? You would use the word would, like Ahmad is saying. Especially if there is an emotional side to what you're talking about. You're talking about your grandparents' uh, um, house and what used to happen over there, and your grandfather would tell you stories. Your grandmom would cook you nice stuff. In this case, you would use would. So would and used to are more or less are interchangeable in certain situations, and I wouldn't say in most of the cases, by the way. Um, you only use it in the affirmative form. Affirmative means a sentence that is not negative or question. Okay, طيب. So what happens if you're talking about a habit that is that started with you in the past, but you still practice or exercise it? In this case, you're going to use am, is, are before used to, and after used to, you're going to use the verb in the ing. When I say I used to have a bike, this is past. I don't have a bike anymore. When I say I am used to riding a bike in the morning before I go to work, I'm used to riding. That means that I ride a bike every morning, okay? So it can be interchangeable with the present symbol, as simple as this. Okay? We also spoke about get used to. And like we said, get used to is about a process, is about adjustments to new situations and new circumstances. Okay, so if you're talking to people who were in Malaysia, for example, and they are talking to their families, and they may say that we're getting used to perhaps getting up early if this is the habit of Malaysians and you're trying to kind of copy and imitate them. You are getting used to sleeping early because this is the habit of the country over there. So get used to, as you can see, is about adjusting and adapting to new circumstances. So what happens with them? You have get before used to, and you have ing after used to. Get used to. Yeah, coping with evolving situations, if you like. Okay, right. Let's move somewhere else. This is getting very interesting. Spoke enough about habits and past habits and routines using, like I said, used to and would. Okay. What's the difference, or how can you distinguish and recognize whether you would need would or had in sentences? When you hear them or when you see them and you read them, you simply put them to the test. What would be the test in order to decide whether the apostrophe D is would or had? You simply check the word that comes after the apostrophe D. If it's a verb in the base form, you would use would. If it's a verb in its third form, go when gone. If it's gone, for example, you would use had. Right? Still remember that? Yeah, good. Oh, that's interesting. Remember this? Did we have enough time to talk about this last time? Because this is amazing. This is something that you would need, especially nowadays where exams are. أكيد يا أماني إن شاء الله. Yeah, إن شاء الله. Again, this is 147. Did you talk about that? I'm asking you, those who attended last time. Okay, that's interesting. It's good that we haven't, because it would have needed more time, and obviously it was the end of the class. But let's do it. The title is very, very, very interesting. How to do research. This is an article, and the title is How to do research. So research is what? Let's first of all, Hussein Al-Ahdal, my friend. Hi, how are you? Long time no see, right? Hussein, yeah, I know you. Okay, so how to do research? How to do research? So research, let's first of all define what research means. And obviously, lots of people are confused about the real meaning of the word research. Research is stuff that you don't do in class. You don't do research in class because of how limited the time is in class, right? Our classes are not research based. You don't do stuff in class. You perhaps listen to what the teacher says, you react to what he or she says, right? But you don't normally, you're not given something that you can look up in on the internet and then come back and then it would this is lengthy. Research normally requires time, right? So research is done over a period of time, as a space of time. It can be as perhaps as limited as a day. It can be a week. It can be a month. Um, I would like you to look at the TMAs that if you have gone يعني considerably enough in the courses that you are taking, you have done a TMA or two. The idea of a TMA is that it's an assignment that you post, not post, that you download from the LMS, and then when you complete it, when you do the required research, you kind of upload it on the LMS. Okay, so in this case, the TMA that you download from the LMS would be a piece of research. What is required is research. That's why you're giving time to think and everything, right? Um, so research is normally about analysis and analyzing something. And analyzing something means that you break something down to its basic components. You try to understand it, and then you communicate this understanding through the TMA. Okay? Okay. So you don't have direct answers. You don't you don't have um, you don't go to the book. Okay, remember you're given time, right? You don't go to the book and look at it and then you write direct answers. No, you don't have that in research. Research is about synthesis, and I'm sure you're going to hear, if you haven't heard this word already. Synthesis is when you read from different sources and then you put what you read together and you come up with something new. This is actually, research is about originality. Originality means that you're not copying and pasting and full stop. You're not parroting or copying the words of this or that guy and full stop. So research is about having something new out of the different readings that you were engaged in. Okay, طيب. So like I said, you're going to do research in order to be able to write the TMA or your assignment. So you're going to read different sources, and sometimes you get affected by these sources. They influence your opinions and the conclusions that you come up with. So you're reading other people's work, right? You have to give them credit. And how do you give them credit? By mentioning the fact that you have taken this or that idea from them. Okay? So it's not about the words or the sentences that you quote from them. You can quote sentences, but even the idea, if the idea is not yours, you need to say from where you got inspired by the idea. Okay? Right. So how can I say that I have taken this idea from Dr. Sameh or I read it in a book? Okay. But this is called what? This is called citation. This is called acknowledgement. You're acknowledging the fact, yeah, you're acknowledging the fact that you're taking, you have read this or that, you have taken this idea or that sentence from. You're acknowledging the efforts of other people. Uh, um, Within the body of your research, within the body of your essay, and this is called in-text citation. In text. In means within your text. So in-text citation, and of course it has rules and regulations. Okay, you're not going to say Dr. Sameh Abdel Jalil who. No, it's not yeah, it has a certain way so that it doesn't look long. And if it becomes long, it's going to kind of distract the reader. You don't want to distract him. You want to say that I have taken this part from this or that source, but in a very light way. So, okay, yeah, yeah, we have different ways, Abdul Latif. One of them would be to say that, I mean, Dr. Samih argues that, and then you mention what he says, or you can say according to Dr. Samih, or you can simply uh, uh, write the sentence between inverted commas and briefly mention the name. It has different ways, and I'm talking about the concept. I'm talking about the idea. I'm not talking about the mechanics. Mechanics means how we do it. We're talking about the idea. I'm trying to raise your awareness about the importance of, giving credit to others and acknowledgement. So again, you have in-text citation, and at the end of your essay, you have what we call uh, a section that we call bibliography. Bibliography is about all the sources that you have used. Okay. Right. I'm hopeful that this is not, yeah, too much. Right. Let's read the essay for a change. I would like us to read the essay. And before we talk about the content of the essay, which is very important, and it's going to be there for you, always go back to this article because it can help you a great deal while writing any piece of research. Fine. Before we do that, uh, as you can see, there are red spots. Can you see those red spots? What do they indicate? You normally have two words, and one of them is correct and the other is wrong. So we're going to start with the editing part. Editing means that you detect errors and you, of course, correct them. So are you going to detect the error? Yes. Okay, if you detect the error, the second word, the very next word would be the correction, right? So I would like you, and I'll give you 3 minutes for that because it's a little bit long. I would like you to go through the article, how to do research, and choose in your book. And I'm hopeful that you guys have the book handy so that you can cross out the wrong word. Can we do that? I think we can. So I'll give you 3 to 4 minutes for that. Okay, are we ready? Mm. Uh, Abdurrahman Abdul what? I have been searching for you for quite some time, ya Abdurrahman. What's your second name? Abdul what? Abdurrahman, the guy with 255 at the end. Ab, Abdurrahman what? Let me. No, I'm talking to Abdurrahman Abdul Ioua. Can you write it in Arabic? I'm not sure I'm reading it the correct way. Listen, do you belong to my class? And I've been looking for your class and for your teacher. And of course, you don't attend on a regular basis, but that's why. Okay. Do you still remember the session number? Okay, 2202. Okay. Okay. Type. Let's go back to, okay. Is it 2202 or two? You can't be in 2202 and 2207, yeah, Abdul Rahman. Okay, so it's 2207. Okay, fine. Anyway, uh, let's go to the piece of research, how to do research. Remember this article. And like I said, I would like you to choose the right word. It's as simple as this. Can we do that? Yes, yes, we can. Yalla, go ahead. You guys have 3 minutes. Like I said, you guys have the book and you can cross out the wrong choice. Go ahead. Yalla. Let me know when you have finished. Huh? So how many people do we have? Yeah, that's good. We have 33 people. Fatma, Fathi, Salah, somebody with only a number. Abdurrahman, Abdulaziz, Abdullah Taha, Ahmed Samih, Ali, Amani, Al-Anud or Anud, simply. Dima, Huda Gaber, Hussein Al-Ahdal, Khadija, Lina Faisal, Muhammad Sulaiman, Muhammad Haidar, Muhammad Salim, Ola, Nada, Muntasir, Ola Omar Salim, Safa or Safa, Sumaya, Thuraya, Abdulaziz, Abdul Okay, that's good. Thank you. Why is that? No, I'm a humble teacher, just trying my best. I don't agree. Yasin. Yeah, at the end of the class, ya Abdullah. Abdullah Taha is asking about attendance, and we'll take it at the end of the class, like we always do. No, not now, ya Nada. Not now. I don't ask questions in the middle of the class, ya Khadija, and you know about me. Don't ask exam-related questions now. Of course, at the end of the class, ya Amani. Yeah, of course. I have 4 classes a week, so you attend today. Tomorrow is at 10 a.m. The day after, and the day after, and the day after are at 2 p.m. You're welcome. Okay, no problem, Yani. No problem. Okay. So how many people are done? Okay, Ola, Ali, Abdurrahman, Hussein. Okay, let me open the book. Okay, let's do it together. So how to do research? Uh, Let me get my glasses. Wait, I'm using the book. Oh, okay. Yeah. So when you write assignments, you have to do research, which means reading wide or widely, quickly, widely, absolutely widely, using a variety of source or sources. A variety of means many. What are you going to use after many? You say many sources or many source. So many sources, a variety of sources. Don't okay. Just wait. Wait until I finish, okay? Okay. So, including nowadays the internet, it does not mean just checking out. It doesn't mean just checking out Wikipedia and and quoting. Let's stop here. Why are we using the word quoting and not quote? Obviously, because we have and. Yeah, absolutely. Like Fathi is saying, if you have and you have a verb after, the verb after has to follow the verb before. So if the verb before has ing, the verb after has to have ing. Absolutely. Mumtaz. Thank you so much. So when students did all the research in the library, it was easy to find sources. So sources is obviously a noun, and before nouns, what do you, I'm asking you, by the way, I'm asking you if you have a noun, what do you need before a noun? You need another noun or you need an adjective? You need absolutely Adima. You need another adjective, an adjective. So to find, and which of them is an adjective? Author or authoritative or authoritative? It's authoritative would be the adjective because they could see the difference between a popular or a popularity magazine. What do you need? It's the same thing. Okay, so you have a magazine. The word magazine is an adjective. You need popularity or pop. You need what? You need an adjective. So obviously, popularity is not correct because it's a noun. So popular. Okay, and an academic magazine, an academic what? Journal. Why? Because it says journal, not journals. You wouldn't use an with s, right? Absolutely not. Yeah, very good. Thank you so much. On the web, you need to check who the writer is, who she is writing for, and whether the article just provides an overview or detailed research. Research is a noun, right? What do you need before a noun? An adjective. Which of them is an adjective? Detailed or detailed? Absolutely detailed. Very good. Thank you so much. So you need to validate valid or facts on the web. So what do you need after to? Need to. Remember, need to. What do you need after to? You need a verb or an adjective. You need a verb, absolutely. So valid or validate would be the verb. Validate would be the verb, absolutely. Thank you so much. You need to validate all facts on the web because many writers of web articles are biased or biased. So after are, you need a noun. Actually, you can use both, but it depends on how you understand it. So you have an adjective. You need an adjective here. So bias or biased would be the adjective. So it's ed. Remember when I say ed for people and ing for things? Absolutely. Okay. So articles, writers of web articles are biased in favor of or against their topic. For example, people are often ethnocentric and think their own culture is always right. Sometimes they state or are stating their bias. Sometimes, yeah, it's state. Why? Because you're talking about general things, things that you have observed. And observations about tomorrow, yesterday, and today. It's something that they do yesterday and they do today and they are likely to do in the future. Okay? But these are about facts, impressions about people and things. In this case, you would use present simple. Okay. So they say clearly, in my opinion, or opinions, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. There is no such thing as in my opinions, right? No. Sometimes, and then you have a quote. What do you understand when you see three dots? Can you see those three dots after opinions? What do they indicate? Not really. Remember when we talk, remember at one point we spoke about non-text markers, and we said the three dots are among, yeah, excellent. Like Ahmed is saying, Ahmed Sameh is saying that there is a part that is not important, so that's why it's not there. So omitted words. Okay, طيب. Where are we? Sometimes, though, they are not so direct, but they use extremely or extreme words. What do you need? You need an adjective or an adverb? You need an adjective. Which of them is an extremely or extreme? So the adjective is extreme, absolutely. Okay, like stupid and disgusting or brilliant and delicious. Sometimes they only imply or implies things. Sometimes they only, yeah, they without s, they imply. Okay. In other words, you have to work out the opinion of the writer from the kind of evidence or evidences. There is no such thing as evidences. What I'm trying to say that evidence is not a countable noun. And if it's not a countable noun, it means that you don't add an before it. You don't say an evidence, for example, and you don't say evidences. It's like information. You don't say an information, and you don't say informations, right? Am I correct? So with evidence, you don't have an, and you don't have s either. So if you want to talk about a shred of evidence, you're going to say a piece of evidence. Okay? Okay. So you must critically or critical evaluate. What do you think? Yeah, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. No, no, Ali. No, no. It's critically, of course. Okay, so whenever you describe a verb, okay, it's ly, it's an adverb. Okay, you describe a verb by using an adverb. So adverbs for describing verbs. And sometimes the description of the verb comes before the verb. Excuse me. In most of the cases, it is after the verb. But in some cases, you can see it like here, critically evaluate something. But in most of the cases, the adverb that describes the verb is at the after the verb. Okay? So you must critically evaluate any information you read on a website. Keep thinking, what does the writer think about this point? Or perhaps more importantly, what does the writer want me to think? If the writer gives evidence in support or in supporting of a particular point. In support, you don't say in supporting, right? You can simply say, you can drop in if you can, so, and you say supporting right away. So in this case, so you can say if the writer gives evidence supporting something, okay, or in support of something. Yeah, correct. Okay. of a particular point of, do we say po point of view? So the plural, if you talk about, so you say points of view, but you never say point of views, right? So the view, whether it's singular or plural, is always view. If you want to make it plural, you're going to say points of view. Do I make sense? Okay, good. So now that we have detected the errors, now that we have corrected them, I would like you to read the article again, error-free. And I would like you to, this time around, I would like you to concentrate and focus on the meaning. Okay? Focus on the tips and pieces of advice presented. And I'll ask you about them. Can you do that? Hello. Okay. I'll give you 4 minutes because it's long, and I would like you to kind of try to understand what is there. Okay? You guys have 4 minutes. Go ahead. When you have finished, I would like you to say something. Okay? Yalla, go ahead. Hello. Are we done? Okay, طيب. Good. So, did it add to your knowledge about researching and how to do research? I mean, in other words, did you like it? Do you think this was useful enough? Okay, nice, very good. So what did you come out with now that you have read it? What is it that you didn't know and now you know about research and how to do research? Yeah. Every and each one can give us يعني an insight that he got. I mean, a sentence or two. Go ahead. Yeah. Ahmad is saying that yeah, this is one of the things that came out with reading the. I should use different sources for research. Absolutely. Yes. Don't trust any piece of research and you need to evaluate. Excellent, ya Hussein. Hussein Al-Ahdal, yes. You don't it's about not taking stuff for granted. To take stuff for granted, it means that you accept things as is. No, you should, like Hussein is saying, you should evaluate it. You need to assess it and see whether it is valuable or not. Yeah, okay. Ali is saying, for me, I noticed that how to write adverbs with yeah, this is actually yeah, this is grammar, but we're focusing this time around on the content, on the ideas, yeah, Ahmed, or yeah, Ali, I'm sorry. We should compare information from, yeah, you should, yeah. This is called assessment. You're trying to assess the information that you get from sources and see which of them is more valuable than others, which of them is more trustworthy, more trusted, right? And you check even the website and see whether it is trustworthy or not. Remember, we spoke about that at one point. You wouldn't, take for your source a newspaper article, but if it's a journal article, it makes yeah, more sense because they are more trusted, right? Written by experts. Okay, that's a lot. That's interesting. Very good, mashallah. You got the idea, right? And what is interesting is that we also have a number of questions that we let's try to answer them. Yeah, evaluating your sources, yes. So how can you read widely? Discuss the questions. How can you read widely? Yes. Yeah, Ablatif is saying collecting information should be from a source. Absolutely, I wouldn't agree more. Excellent, yeah, Ablatif. Yes. So how can you read? How can we read widely? Yeah, different sources. Yes. Mm. Ola is saying to read many sources, not one. I think. Yeah, that's correct. From a variety of sources, like Ahmed is saying. Yes, good. How do you recognize a quote in an article? You know what a quotation is? How would you recognize to say, this is a quote? Yeah, this is a the quote is normally yes. Let's move. Yeah, if you have quotation marks, right? You normally recognize a source or a quote if you have inverted commas and quotation marks, right? Name a popular magazine. Name a popular magazine. There are lots of magazines, right? Vogue, People, lots of them, right? If we talk about, I mean, news magazines, um, lots of them, right? EL112. Oh, I'm not sure that I. Yes. 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 Okay, name an academic journal. I'm not sure that this is any relevant to your experience, given the fact that you're not researchers. Yeah, there are, okay, whatever that is, but yeah, yes. Okay, okay. Is a medical journal an authoritative source? If you have a medical journal, is it an yeah, absolutely. But I mean, not all medical journals are. Yeah, yeah. You need to also check. I mean, check the university that is issuing this medical journal, right? You still need to check, right? How can you validate information? Validate information means that you ensure or make sure that the information is valid, is correct and reliable. I wouldn't call it formal. I would call it a trusted source. Normally, university, journals. I mean, published by academic institutions. Yes. You need to also do your own research, double check and stuff. What is the bias of most national newspapers in your country? Bias is when you speak when you are not neutral. Neutral means that you're not taking sides, and you take sides for personal or national reasons. You're from a certain country and you speak about, I mean, perhaps another idea or another movie in another country in a negative way because the director happens not to be from your country, for example. Yeah, okay. How many extreme adjectives can you think of? Adjectives that are extreme. Extreme adjectives are not always good when it comes to evaluating and validating and talking about something. Science is not about extreme stuff. So if you say that this article, yeah, smart is not extreme. It's fine. For words like, yeah, remember in the article they said words like stupid, brilliant, right? These are extreme adjectives, good or bad, right? Uh, I'm not sure. Yeah, if you use words like ugly, yes. So science is, yeah, that's yeah, okay. So what is your view of arranged marriages? You know what arranged marriages are? What's an arranged marriage? Sometimes, by the way, they call it a marriage of convenience. Not really. I'm not. It's not about whether this is the regular one or not. I'm talking about, or whether it's traditional. I'm talking about the concept. What's the concept of arranged marriages? What happens in arranged marriage? How does it take place or happens? Yes. So it's basically about setting people up together. Arranged, I mean, you arrange, I mean, people that don't know each other beforehand, okay, um, they meet because their parents have arranged for this meeting to happen, and they sit together for perhaps yani half an hour, and then they decide whether to take it to the next level or not and get married. But this is arranged. As you can see, there is a bit of arrangement to it, right? Which is different from marriage, where you normally people know each other beforehand and they work together in the same company, for example, they see each other and stuff like that. Okay. So what do you think of this kind of marriage? Arranged marriage. Let's talk about our cultures. Do we have that happening in our different cultures? Let's talk about percentage. So how many of the marriages in your country are arranged marriages? Hussein is saying 80%. Ahmad is saying 50%. Okay. So as you can see, the percent, Ablatif is saying 90%. As you can see, the percentage is very high, right? Let's talk about you. What do you think? Do you think that arranged marriages are successful? Do you think, would you recommend them? Okay. Okay. So Ablatif is saying that in Mauritania, yeah, they are fine and acceptable and recommendable even. Dima is saying it sometimes does not last for a long time. Okay. Okay. طيب. Hussein is saying I prefer not to have an arranged marriage. Okay. Let me check what time it is now. Okay, let's move on. Okay, Ablatif is saying it is mostly successful. When we are 147 again, uh, I would like you to check the vocabulary box that we have at the bottom of the page and see whether you need help with any of the words. You have words like authoritative, critical, detailed, evidence, extreme, source, supporting, and validate. Do you have issues with any of these words? The first word, authoritative. So it's authoritative or authoritative, depending on whether you're using the American or the British accent. Authoritative or authoritative means that it is given by an authority. An authority is somebody who is an expert in the field. Okay? Okay. So validate means that to make sure that something is valid. Valid means correct, accurate. Okay? The third word would be detailed. Detailed means full of details. Yes. Any other word? Okay, let's move. Okay, so I would like you on 148, everyone. In 148, we have a graph. Can you see the graph on at the top of the page? Somebody is asking about the last word. The word. Yeah, we spoke about it. Validate means to make sure to make sure that something is valid. Valid means accurate, correct. Okay, not exaggerated. So again, I would like you to look at the graph that we have on page 148 at the top of the page. Read the graph, study the graph, and give me your interpretations, what you have understood. It says average wedding budget. You know what budget is? That the money that you set or assign or allocate for something. Okay? Yalla, go ahead, look at the graph on page 148, top of the page, and tell me what you have understood from the graph. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Salah is saying it's about wedding budgets. Yeah, it's about the average. How much money does it cost? Yes, like Ali is saying. Dima is saying it increases along the years. Salah is saying from 1990 to 2012. So the trend is rising or falling. So the costs are rising, are becoming bigger, or getting lower. Yeah, okay, nice. Yeah, that's interesting. So, we're talking about a range in terms of years. We're talking about from when to when. Between what and what? No, this is not my question. I'm talking about the year. Yeah, 1990 to 2012. Yes, okay. So let's talk about our countries between 1990 and 2012. Are the wedding costs getting higher or lower? What do you think? You don't have to be an expert. Yani higher, higher. Yes. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Now what? Let's go to the article itself. You have an article in the opposite page. It says, can couples afford to get married anymore? Can couples afford, couples is a man and a wife and they want to get married. Afford to be afford to do something means you can do something. You're able to do something. Okay? And it's normally used with money. When I say that, for example, something is affordable, it means that I can buy it. Okay? Okay, so I want you, can you see, some of the lines, some of the sentences are highlighted in yellow. Can you say that? Can you say those sentences that are highlighted in yellow? what do we call them? What do we call the first sentence in a paragraph? Topic sentence, absolutely. Yeah, it's so how many topic sentences do we have? 7 topic sentences. Okay, so a topic sentence tells you what? Yeah, it gives you the main idea. So sometimes I don't need to read the rest of the paragraph to understand what your paragraph is about, right? Right. Yeah, absolutely. Hussein is saying it gives you clues about the paragraph. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So I would like you to go through the different topic sentences that we have, and then we can always expect from the topic sentence what the paragraph is about. Read them and get ready to tell me what each and every paragraph will be about from the topic sentence. Yalla, go through them. The topic sentence, I mean, the 7 topic sentences that you have. And let's talk. I'll give you a minute. Yalla, go through them. Okay, done? Okay, طيب. So do you want to get married in the near future? So this is the first topic sentence. And it's we can consider it a topic sentence, and we can also call it a hook. You know what a hook is in writing? If you're writing an essay or an article and you're using a hook is a question. Yeah, in most of the cases, these are tricky questions that are meant to grab and attract the attention of the reader, like Dima is saying. So you get the attention of a reader attracted and grabbed through a hook, right? So do you want to get married in the near future? This is interesting enough. So what does this tell us about the rest of the paragraph? What do you think the rest of the paragraph will be about? Yeah, the same. I mean, give me details. No, well, yeah, okay. So weddings and marriages. Okay. So how about the second topic sentence? What does it say? It says in many countries in the world, weddings are becoming extremely expensive affairs. What do you think the rest of the paragraph will be about? In many countries in the world, weddings are becoming extremely expensive affairs. I expect people to say that, I mean, the writer is going to give us examples of that. He's making a conclusion, he's saying, he's making a claim, and he's going to establish and prove it. Remember? He says in many countries in the world, weddings are becoming extremely expensive affairs. He has to prove it. He's going to provide us with evidence. He's going to establish this is a claim. Remember when we spoke about claims, when you say something, but if it's not documented or you don't provide an evidence for, right? Yeah, he's going to give us examples if he's saying what he is saying, right? Otherwise, like I said, it's going to be a mere claim, مجرد ادعاء, right? Three, young people in these countries know all about the cost of a wedding. Young people in these countries know all about the cost of a wedding. Yeah, perhaps more examples from certain countries. Perhaps more research. Yes, yes. 4. In some countries, men solve the problem by marrying foreign brides because the bride price is much lower. So this is obviously about what? Solutions to the problem. And the solution here is what? You get married out of your country, right? In some countries, men solve the problem by marrying foreign brides because the bride price is much lower. Yes. Uh, and of course, I don't like the word price when it comes to people. Okay. Um, okay, let's move on. So some countries have taken extreme decisions to solve the problem, making marriages between nationals and foreigners illegal. Okay, what's your name? 438 wants to leave. What's your name? Mashari. Okay, Mashari Lamdi. Okay, no problem. Okay. Type. But this is obviously what's the I'm asking, let me ask you about the relationship between paragraph 4 and paragraph 5. Yes. So Ahmad said, yeah, individuals come up with a solution, but the following paragraph, uh, uh, governments are against the solution because otherwise, everybody, if everybody gets married to a foreign lady, so yeah, I mean, locals wouldn't get married, and this is obviously not fair, right? Okay, another possible economy is the mass wedding, which is a ceremony with hundreds of brides and grooms at the same. This is another what? This is another problem or another solution? Yeah, it is another solution, yes. 7. Couples themselves can reduce costs by hiring wedding clothes. This is another solution or another problem. Absolutely. See? You see how important topic sentences are? Okay. Are you getting the idea? Okay. Okay, so which of these solutions are now exercised or practiced in our cultures? Which of them you find relevant and even applied in our culture? 7, the idea of having couples who reduce costs by hiring wedding clothes. And 6 is mass weddings. Yes, yes. Yeah, that's correct. Mass means on a large scale, and instead of having only one wedding, you have hundreds of weddings on the same day and in the same wedding place. Okay, good. So let's move further down where we have a number of words. I would like you to look at them and see if you need help with any of them. So you have words like a fair, pride, dowry, illegal, loan, mass, traditional, and wardrobe. Wardrobe. Any any challenges with any of these words? Loan. Loan means that you take. Okay, let's take them one at a time. Let's start with Ola was asking about loan. Loan is when you take money from a bank. So this is called a loan. You borrow money from the bank. You borrow money from the bank. You say, I'm going to take it for perhaps a year and then I'll get them back in installments, and they normally charge you an interest. Okay, does it make sense, Yaola? Okay. And then we have the word wardrobe. Wardrobe is the closet where you put your clothes in. Closet. Wardrobe is like closet where you put and keep your clothes. Borrow is to ask a friend perhaps for money and then you give it back in a while. So dowry is the money in certain cultures. Yeah, actually, in most of the cultures, you the male would give the father or the parents of the family an X amount of money. And in certain cultures, it's the woman who gives this X amount of. In India, for example, the dowry is given by the parents of the girl. Okay, and then we move to the word debt, and we don't pronounce the bah. It's debt, 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 not debt. We don't pronounce the bah. Debt. So debt is money that you have taken from somebody, that you have borrowed from somebody, but you haven't paid it yet. You haven't given it back yet. Okay? Clearo? Okay. So what we have, and I think we have, yeah, we're done with this part. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, Hussein. That's why I said that I don't agree with using the word when he says pride, pride price. No, right? Okay. Okay. Let me talk. Will I'll keep I'll keep the new stuff to tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a class at 10 a.m., right? Okay. Let me talk about the exams. Last time I spoke to you about um, the uh, the exam as being take-home exam, right? The way that we did the quiz, the second quiz. But obviously we're having an update because of the fact that the Ministry of Education, or Higher Education rather, um, had perhaps new regulations. As we speak, the University Council is meeting, and they are going to come up with resolutions that we are going to share with you tomorrow. Uh, I'm saying that we don't know about the format of the exam yet, yeah, Amani. Last week it was clear that you're going to give a take a home exam. But we're saying that we have new regulations by the Ministry of Higher Education, and I am saying that the University Council members are meeting as we speak now, and they are going to come up with resolutions that are compatible with what the ministry has said. We will have to wait. Okay, we will have to wait until tomorrow, inshallah. Is that clear? Can somebody explain it in Arabic to her? Perhaps if you can type. Yeah, until tomorrow morning, and after I finish uh, with you here, I'll see what they have decided. Which email? What did it say? No, we will have to. Yeah, like I said, yeah, Sumaya, everything is suspended and is on hold now. Yeah, what this is what I'm saying. Everything is on hold until tomorrow. We either go ahead with the plan that was sent to you, this 60% and all these kinds of things, or perhaps we have another plan that is compatible with the ministry. Yeah, what I'm saying that they are meeting so that there is going to be compatibility between what the ministry is saying and what the university is implementing. So let's wait. Let's wait until tomorrow, and I promise that I'll give you the final word. Yeah, I said tomorrow. Let's when I leave from here today, I'll I'll talk to people and see what they have to say. Inshallah. Is that clear? Can we take attendance, everyone? Yalla, let's take attendance. Bismillah ar-Rahman. Okay, so we have somebody by a number 410. I don't know who this guy is or lady. 1410. Fathi Abdul Malik, Salah Makkawi, Abdul Rahman, Abdul. Okay. Ali, Ali, I don't know whom. Amani, Amani whom. Amna Omar, Anud, Anud Muhammad, Dima, Huda Gaber, Hussein Al Ahdal, uh, Kamila Hazazi. I'm hopeful that I'm reading the name the correct way. Um, so, Khadija, Khulud bin Gadim or Kadim, Lina, I don't know Lina whom, Lina Faisal, Marwa Isaac, Muhammad Sulaiman, Muhammad, I don't know Muhammad whom, Muhammad Haider, Muhammad Salim, Muntasir Al-Dalis, I'm hopeful that the name is يعني as I pronounce it. Nada Ba Sudan, Ola, Safa, Sulaiman, Sumaya, Thuraya, Waddah, Abdul Latif, Amna Omar, Abdul Latif, and this is basically it. Okay. Do you, before I leave, do you have any questions? Perhaps about the content, what we covered today? Muhammad Abdullah. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow, inshallah, at 10 a.m. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.